What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, this is a question that is really similar to how television is made. Today's episode is such a fun one. We chat with one of my dear friends, Phil Byron, who is a development executive extraordinaire. He's one of the people who's responsible for building shows from the ground up, whether that's idea first, talent first. He's going to talk to us about his journey and how he got to where he is in his career. We're going to talk a lot about the state of the entertainment industry, where it's been, where it is, and maybe where it's going. And he is going to give us all the insights into how some of the most incredible television shows are made. So come on, let's go. Well, Phil Byron, thank you so much for being a guest on Cultivated Conversations.
Of course.
I feel like this is a long time coming. I've had the pleasure of knowing you and working with you for 8?
I think 8. And I was an OG Cultivated Conversations listener.
Yes, we love that.
Do we have the same how we know each other story?
I don't know. Let's hear yours.
Mine is I was pulled onto a phone call with this talent booker extraordinaire named Jen Proctor that everyone was talking about from a show we were doing called Shut Up and Dribble for Showtime. Are we aligned here?
We are aligned.
Okay.
100% aligned.
I can't remember what we wanted you to help us save or what we needed you for.
I mean, I think you just needed talent in general.
Well, you were already working on that, and I was just starting when that show was going, so I wasn't fully like in the producer weeds on that. And everyone was singing your praises because that show had Justin Timberlake, LL Cool J, Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And that was it was 2017 probably.
Yeah, 2017, 2018, I think. Yeah.
Crushed that, and then we met and
fell in love. Jinx. Yes, I have the same origin story. And then we've had the pleasure of working on, a lot of projects together over the years. Some journeys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of them tend to be.
Yeah.
But tell us your origin stories. Like, when you were young, did you always want to work in the entertainment industry?
I was a theater kid.
Okay.
And also,
that checks.
Yes. Loved a musicale. Was the video camera kid in my neighborhood.
Love.
Running around. And then I went to Boston University for film. So definitely was intentional about entertainment.
And then where was your first job?
Was a production assistant on an HBO movie in New York. I did the BULA program. Studied abroad in Los Angeles.
He's doing air quotes,
I'm doing
by the way.
Air quotes for the listeners. And lived in Park La Brea and
classic.
PLB,
classic,
my initials, which was always fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And had a dreaded commute to Santa Monica, where I interned for the HBO Films division. Loved HBO, did not love Los Angeles, and I set exit interviews with all the executives at the end of the semester. Was like, went down the line and pretty much told them all the same thing, which is I love it here. I love HBO. This was when it was like John Adams and True Blood. And one of my jobs as an intern was burning the book on CD for all the execs for a series called Game of Thrones.
Oh, never heard of it.
Never heard of it. And I remember they came back from a scout for this dragon show. And it's just funny that now it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And I told them all, I want to work on one of your shows or one of your movies. I don't want to live in LA though. And funny enough, here we are. One of them was like, hey, we have a movie that's going to be in New York. You don't know Jack, Dr. Kevorkian, played by Al Pacino. And that got me to New York. The production assistant job, was essentially just being a gopher, and was coming to the end of that, and asked my boss, so what do we do next? And she's like, well, we wait for the next movie, and then I'll hopefully hire you on that. And I was like, well, when's that going to be? I need to pay for rent.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I realized the freelance lifestyle wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And so I just went on entertainmentcareers.net.
I remember it well. Yep.
R.I.P.
Shout out. Oh, wait, no, I bet you it's still around.
Think it's still around?
I bet you it is.
Yeah, it was like very old school website. And I got this job working for a talent manager of Broadway choreographers.
Oh my gosh.
very niche. And it was the first job I had where I wasn't qualified, which has become just my career history of getting jobs that I didn't feel qualified for.
Imposter syndrome.
And then just figuring it out.
Yep.
And that job was scary, but it kind of built my foundation of just figuring stuff out and it broke down the imposter syndrome very quickly. Yeah, it was probably like a year. Talent management was not for me, but that led me into the dance world. My colleague was starting a YouTube channel called Dance On.
Oh, wow.
And I was hired to run all the programming for that. Again, not qualified. But this was 2010, early-ish YouTube. YouTube was like 5.
Yep.
That was the start of the like funded YouTube channel boom, if you remember that.
I sure do.
I feel like you got dragged into that, I'm
yeah.
sure. And I did directing, producing, writing, metadata, making thumbnails, literally every single job. PR, it was kind of just like running a little mini network. It was truly the wild, wild west. I always equate it to working in news. You're just like constantly cranking out videos and you can't really sit with the stuff too long. You just we were making like 20 videos a week and you're just like, okay, this one didn't fail, you move on. This one worked, let's double down. Why did this work? You're constantly looking at what's happening in pop culture and search, and it was really fun. Like, there's no money in terms of budgets.
No.
I was on shows as talent. My fellow coworkers were on shows as talent. It was just a funny time. And then that kind of got me into the unscripted TV world where they're like, it's kind of all the same. It's just different platforms
where you're distributing it. Yeah.
I kind of got put in this straddle position of trying to take our digital shows and sell them, as we used to say, upstream. Had one success. We did Tyler the Creator's app, Golf Media, at Whale Rock, and he had a show called Nuts and Bolts that I helped develop with my friend and former boss, Rachel Brill, who I think you've probably crossed paths with.
Yeah, shout out
Rachel. And we sold it to Vice.
Nice.
And as that show was about to go, I got the call to go to Spring Hill and run their unscripted and documentary team. Again, didn't necessarily feel qualified because I basically knew LeBron from Trainwreck, not from his
incredible NBA career.
Yeah. When I was interviewing for the job, that's when they won in 2016, and that felt really cool to be like, oh, this is a big deal.
I started part of something really big here.
We were on the Warner Brothers lot, which was really cool.
Being on a lot is the best.
Yes.
You feel like you're in a movie every day that you're working.
Yeah, it was so fun. And it's kind of nuts, 9 years later almost to see what it's become. But
what an incredible journey.
Yeah.
When you look back, either in those beginning days or over the last 9 years, at Spring Hill, is there one project or one moment that you feel like, oh, I made it. I'm here?
Ooh, that's a good question. The one thing I did start to pay attention to was just the media's obsession with all things LeBron James, which was pretty cool. Like, I knew going in, the industry was going into this place of, I don't even want to say vanity production companies because we were much more than that, but
talent-led production companies.
Yes, exactly. I knew the power of talent, but the media's obsession with everything LeBron says, tweets, on and off the court was pretty cool. And I remember when we did what became The Shop down at All-Star Weekend, and it was just this digital series, and we put out the clips on Uninterrupted, our digital media platform, and it was everywhere.
Yep.
And that moment was pretty cool. And then fast forward, I don't know, 4 months later, we were making the show for HBO.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
So let's talk a little bit about the concept of talent and project, right? Because obviously we both dance in these worlds so much. And I think even from the time we met, fast forward years later, however many years it's been, and how tough it is, but yet equally, if not more important to have this talent. Can you talk to me about from your POV, right? And being the person who's developing the projects and going out and selling them and pitching them. How can you define that importance?
It is very hard to define.
Yeah.
I've told people if there was a path to a show getting made and in one way to do it, we all would just be making shows all the time. Having talent baked in to a show on the front end is always helpful, but it's still, to this day, it's not a slam dunk. You can't walk in the door and be like, we have this A-list talent, they're going to host the show, and expect the red carpet to be rolled out. There might have been a moment of that. I think it's changed a bit, but even when there was kind of this boom in the unscripted world and in the documentary space, it still was never easy. I think it really does come down to what they're doing, why it matters, and how it's going to get eyeballs. I mean, that's still the hardest thing to do with so much stuff out there.
And attracting the talent to the project, I think, is near impossible these days, right?
Yeah.
Because it's that development cycle, right? And I want to talk a little bit about, well, first, can you define development for everyone? Like, what does that mean?
That's a fun one. Development, it's really starting with an idea and building it out into how it's going to be a show. Like, is it a talk show? Is it a feature documentary? Is it a documentary series? Is it a game show? Is it a competition show? Kind of based on those various buckets, it's building out what is someone watching on TV. And every single development is really a snowflake. And sometimes it's optioning a book. Sometimes it's finding the right IP. Sometimes it's building around a piece of talent. And so, I mean, to give two, I guess, specific examples that are talent-led, I love watching the Hollywood Reporter roundtables.
Yeah, they're so good.
They're just like the best. One year where it was Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, so it was definitely like a Grace and Frankie.
Saw this. Oh, yes. Yep.
And Rachel Bloom, who was doing Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And she was introduced as like the writer, director, creator, and star. And Jane Fonda, in a crass way that I won't quote, was like, how did you get all those? What I would have had to do like at your age to be able to do all those things. And it was this moment of like, I don't want to say the gender gap's closed. It's still certainly an issue, but it was seeing growth.
Yeah.
And I got to say, this was before Red Table Talk. I was like, I want to do a show with women of different generations.
Yeah.
Talking about, whatever their career is. And I developed this whole format. It was called Ceiling Breakers. And there was going to be a sports episode, and there was going to be a politicians episode, and an authors episode, and an actors episode. And I was so excited. And then there's like this announcement of this show with these 3 powerful women from the Smith family called Red Table Talk. And I was like, ugh, which is one of those like validating moments, but it was kind of like, this is going to get compared to that. Obviously, that was a juggernaut. Yeah. Very fun to watch for all the reasons I'm saying. You'd hear Willow and her grandmother have completely different perspectives on things. Totally, yeah. So it was one of those things where just sat, and my saying I use with my team all the time is development never dies. Yeah. And so I put it in the virtual drawer vault under my desk. And fast forward back to like talent is the icon that is Robin Roberts had a deal with Disney, and they needed ideas for Disney Plus. And I literally pulled this deck out and just like dusted it off, had to update everyone's ages. Like it had been years. Like I want to say it was like 4 years. Back to the what is development, like really developed it through the lens of Robin. And Robin being the piece of talent and the POV to bring 3 women around a table for a conversation. Yeah. We got the green light from Disney Plus for what became Turning the Tables with Robin Roberts. Nice. Did 2 seasons. It won an Emmy. Talk about talent, because now we have the show. Now we have our ringleader, but it was every episode having to find 3 women from a different
generation that can speak to the same topic. Talent booking can be really hard. You can have the most exciting project ever, but it comes down to the dates, the time commitment, like there's just so many factors.
It's also gratifying because we did a Recipe for Change, standing up to anti-Semitism. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of bookings, one of those things where you put your flag in the date.
Yeah.
In the shoot dates.
And you have to build around it.
And then the train has left the station and you need people. And it was down to the wire, but cultivated, got it done. It was a full team effort. And now Jen and I get to sit here and say that we helped Idina Menzel win an Emmy Award.
Well, and
which
won
is
an
my
Emmy
party.
Award.
I know we did too.
But we did. We got her too. Did that bring her to EGOT status?
For 2 minutes thought it did.
Okay.
It didn't. But when she does,
we were part of that. Yes.
We were part of that.
Yeah. I love that.
So, yeah.
I love that. Let's talk about cultural influence, right? Because I think one, you've worked at a company, led by one of the most prolific sports figures, and not just in sports, but I think in culture, right? And I think a lot of culture comes from entertainment, if not most of culture comes from entertainment. Where do you see that connective tissue and that importance between what we create, right, as producers, and how it's reflecting what's happening in our culture?
I think it's incredibly important. I do think the word culture, it's different for everyone.
It is.
And now
it is.
I always find it interesting if you go to an Airbnb and you fire up that Netflix and that Airbnb. Mm-hmm. The homepage, depending where you are, does not look like your homepage back at home.
Totally. Yeah.
I just said home 80 times.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that's interesting to me is about the word culture, which I do think is used a lot.
It is. It is. It's a trite word.
Yes. Yeah. And you can, I can sit here and say that the shop was, such a big part of culture. And I do believe that. The show ran for a very long time. We had really amazing conversations. Gavin Newsom came on and signed what became kind of the first NIL legislation on that show. We had Lil Nas X on there before he was Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
Just important cultural conversations on that show. But I can go ask people I grew up with in Baltimore, have you seen The Shop? And they haven't even heard of it.
They have no idea what you're talking about.
So what's culture for that person versus this person? To me, and I'm still excited to one day have a true cultural but I think A Love Is Blind to me is something that's cult. Everyone knows what that is. Yeah. My mother, your family.
Projects like Recipe for Change is an example of that, right? Because we did 2 iterations, one that was around anti-Semitism and one that was around the AAPI, awareness.
That one was so interesting just given who we were as a company with, athlete connections and empowering athletes. This was a moment when there was a rise of attacks on the Asian community.
Yeah, there was this cultural moment that was happening.
Right, and Michelle Kwan reached out to our company, just kind of said, I want to do something. What can I do? And bless YouTube and Nadine for just taking a chance on what wasn't a developed idea.
Yeah.
It was, hey, here's a national treasure, Michelle Kwan. Here's a cultural issue that's everywhere.
Yeah.
And you have a massive platform that can get this out to millions of people around the world. Let's figure out together what the show is. And it ended up being this incredible, format that our boy Joel helped shape and, ended up doing a bunch of iterations of it. And yeah, to your point, it is a broad word.
Well, and I think that's the thing. There's mass culture, but then there are all these sort of small pockets of culture, and everyone's idea of culture is different. And what I find really fascinating and amazing about the work that I get to do is I touch on all these little things, right? I touch on human rights and women's rights and sports and music, and that's one of the coolest part of our jobs is we get to sort of dabble in all these different sectors and make something for everybody a little bit.
Did you have a moment where you felt like you worked on something that had that cultural breakthrough in the way I kind of
I think it was the Dear Class of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that project was the most profound. I mean, it was like there were, graduation speeches from Beyonce and the Obamas and Lady Gaga, and we had Taylor Swift. I mean, literally you name them and they were a part of it. The pandemic had hit, and it was just, it was this moment when we all didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But we all wanted to do something. And this was a project that was led by the Obamas, right? Yeah. And so beyond the scale and the scope of it, I think it just was, it's forever that project that I just look back and think, wow, we were able to contribute something for everybody. It was for a graduating class, but it was like everyone needed to hear that message in that moment. And also just like anything that Barack Obama says, like, damn, can you know? Anyways, that was a time. So let's talk a little bit about collaboration, right? Because I think a lot of what you do and what I do and what we've done together it's about collaborating. And I think sometimes it can be under crazy timelines. It can be under stressful situations. So I'd love your advice really about how do you achieve success when you're putting groups of people together who may not always see things the same way?
I think the biggest thing is everyone, it's such a cliche, is on the same team.
Yeah.
I have a few times in my career had someone on the other end of the phone speaking to me in a way because of a stressful situation and stopped them and said, I'd like to reset the tone of the call. I want to remind you we're on the same team. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy in those stressful moments to start pointing fingers and freaking out. But ultimately, everyone is hopefully working towards the same goal.
Yeah.
In our scenario, making a show about whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I think keeping that North Star in mind. Mm-hmm. And truthfully, another cliche, everything does work out. And it's so hard in the moment to believe that.
Yeah.
But it really does.
Well, it has to.
It has to. It always works out.
Yeah.
It's so funny because someone will rise to the occasion to get it done. And when everyone believes in whatever that North Star is and that project is, it happens. And I do think it requires someone, sometimes it's multiple people, to be that kind of cheerleader.
Yeah.
Which I try to be on all the projects that I work on, because it is easy to freak out and to want to throw up your hands sometimes.
Have you ever lost your cool?
I have lost my cool. Not too many times, but I have lost my cool.
Yeah.
Which isn't fun. Yeah. And then you're like,
I know.
Shit.
I know. I think there's been twice in my life where I lost it. Mm-hmm. And then, you just feel stupid, but then you're like, I know that I'm so level-headed. For me to actually lose my cool, it must have been pretty bad.
And then you're like, God, some people live that way every day.
All the time. I know.
And how tiring is that?
Exhausting.
And I think that's the other point back to, I think the question was around collaboration. It's working with people you collaborate well with.
Yeah.
And I do think our industry sometimes that happens to a detriment, where it's you only work with the same people because it's a good vibe, and then thus there's no new people coming in through
a fresh energy,
different perspectives. I think that's one thing I have been really proud about with Spring Hill, was from day one being aware of, I am a white person in a predominantly Black company telling diverse stories and ensuring that our crews reflected what we were telling on camera, and was doing that from the beginning. One of the first shows we did was called Best Shot, another YouTube original.
I
Thanks
know.
to Nadine.
Oh, man, rest in peace, YouTube.
Yeah, that was YouTube Red.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Double
yeah.
R.I.P. But we were filming at Newark Central High School, and you can't go into a school like that with an all-white crew. It seems very obvious, but a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And there's like, well, there isn't anybody. It's like, did you try calling other people to call other people to call other people? Sometimes it just takes effort. And I think because we all move so quickly, it's just easy to pick up the phone and call that trusted person, which at times makes a lot of sense. But I also try to stress to people when you have those, we all have those weeks where you're like, why don't I have that many meetings? And you start to be like, oh God, am I not busy enough? And create like dumb work. That's when I try to like watch stuff and reach out to people. It's easy to find people's emails and just say, I'm a fan of this project you did. Can we have coffee or have a Zoom? And
you find that people return and
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
like
emailing Brad Pitt, but yeah, people do. And I think you don't get a lot of those congrats on this thing and I was moved by this. Like,
you don't. And to that point, I think anytime, even like I think like students reach out to me quite a bit, and when they do, it's like I take the time to respond or get on a Zoom with them and give them the feedback, because you're right, you don't. It's like you bust your ass, you finish the project, and then everyone just kind of moves on. And it's everyone's just on to the next thing. And so sometimes it's nice to get those flowers from people. And I mean, it's nice to hear that people actually respond.
People do.
Yeah. A good piece of advice, you know, to anyone out there.
Reach out,
truly. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about how the industry has changed. Like even just talking about the last 2 or 3 years. But I'd love your POV. What's happening? Where are we going? Should anyone who has the goal of being in the television industry run for the hills?
Oh gosh.
I'm just,
run
just
for
curious.
the hills.
Yeah.
No, it is one of those things where it feels like there's a lot less stuff being made.
Yep.
And for a while, I kept telling my coworkers and friends, well, we're making some stuff, so we just need to like change the narrative and just get it out there that like stuff's being made and talk it into existence and like change everyone's attitude. Again, this is back to the like cheerleader vibes.
Totally. Yep.
But now this year it does feel particularly bleak when, you're seeing these videos from celebrities showing the like empty parking lots at the studio. You're finding all these shows are being filmed
in Ireland,
overseas,
and Canada, and Mexico. And,
I heard someone say in a meeting, this was more about scripted stuff, but that East Hungary is now New York City.
Wow. Which
is not a fact, so that freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And, we all understand there's reasons to do that. I mean, I remember as a younger person that the Hairspray musical, which is about my lovely hometown of Baltimore, was going to be filmed in Canada. And I thought that was insane. Yeah. And, that's when I learned what tax incentives were. But for some reason this year feels especially grim. I think, though, people still are watching so much content. I get excited. I haven't watched it yet, but I get excited to see, like, Adolescence being this massive show, which isn't based on the overused word of IP.
No, yeah.
Doesn't have a star in it. Is just, from what everyone says, an amazing story and incredible filmmaking. And the fact that that's resonating. Baby Reindeer last year. Like, that gives me hope. I think in the unscripted world, seeing how things with just regular people are working in terms, I mean, normally they're formats, but like our dating shows, our Love is Blind, our Love Islands, Too Hot to Handles, and then now spin-offs of following the person who was on the show, and like that excites me.
The reality lane.
Yeah. And seeing that like documentaries are still being watched, still being consumed. my mom called me being like, have you watched Martha Stewart's documentary yet? Like,
it's good. Yeah. I mean, she's
Martha.
Yeah. It's like what I was saying about LeBron. It's just sort of like there are these people, right, that there almost are no words.
Yeah.
They're a presence.
Yeah.
And she's certainly one.
I believe that.
It's like that Beyonce effect too, right? There's just certain people, and I love talking about this because I think that as time goes on, those people are fewer and fewer and fewer, right?
Yes.
Like you think about that superstardom of like the Marilyn Monroe and Elvis days, right? And just, there's so much talent and everyone is a creator and everyone has a following, and it's a fascinating time.
Well, it's back to also we were saying of, whatever you want to call it, your feed, your homepage, your timeline. It's different for everyone now.
Yeah.
Where I follow this account that does, like, this was the Us Weekly cover this day in 2007.
Oh my gosh. Wait, you have to send that to me.
I will. And guess what? Like, we were obsessed with Jessica Simpson.
Yeah, I know. We were.
Like, obsessed.
I was, yeah.
And everyone knew who she was. And that
I Want to Love You Forever.
And they were talking about her on one of my favorite podcasts, Who Weekly. They're like, she's always trying to recreate that chicken of the sea moment, if you remember from...
Oh, sure do. From Newlyweds.
Mm-hmm. And this podcast it talks about if they're a who or a them.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this.
And you haven't gotten on it yet. So
I haven't.
You got to get on it.
I
know. And they decided today that she's a who, but she was a them. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of what you said of just... There's so many people that like singular name celeb is harder to come by. But it's still happening. I went to Denver last year. We were lucky enough to get an interview with Billie Eilish for a yet to be released documentary.
Okay.
And I went to her concert. And it reminded me of going to the Britney Spears concert in middle school.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool how young the crowd was. It was the same thing of like parents taking their kids and the parents knowing
the music,
but being chaperones. A level of screaming that I was not expecting.
Yeah.
My friend from college who lives up there came with me, and we were like, should we have brought earplugs? But I had this like backstage crew sticker, and I like gave it to this girl who was like, she was crying at every song. Like, this girl's life was changed. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to give her this sticker. And she freaked out. And I just like to think that now it's on her laptop.
You made her life. Yeah.
That, like, someone like Billie Eilish reminds me of, like, it's still possible.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not, like, as many as when we were growing up, but I do think it's still possible.
Yeah. Well, and, like, I mean, even, like, Chapel Roans have it,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's different.
The expiration date can be so much quicker for people than I feel like it used to be.
Yeah. Okay, so you have some passion projects, side hustles, and I think this is one of the things that I admire so much about you, because I think since the day that I met you, you have a job and you are so incredible at your job, and so attentive, and yet somehow you find time to do these things that fill your cup up, right? Your passions and things that inspire you. Why is that important? And how do you find the time for it?
Well, yeah, you met me when I was teaching indoor cycling.
I did.
Before
but
work.
I feel like that was also a passion project.
It was. I mean, it was. I just got into indoor cycling just as a form of exercise.
Therapy.
This is good, fun exercise. I think, listening to music, getting a sweat in.
Yeah.
And, my friend who worked at Flywheel, another RIP, was like, hey, they need more male instructors, and I feel like you'd be good, and do you want to audition? And it was crazy. I went to my boss at Whale Rock and was like, hey, I need to use a whole week of vacation next week. And he's like, oh, where are you going? And I was like, I'm doing instructor training for Flywheel. He's like, so hold on, you're taking vacation to get another job?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but it won't conflict. And he's like, that's so weird. I was like, it is. That ultimately scratched the itch of my theater kid.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
that
at the
makes
end of the
sense.
day,
That makes
you're
sense.
putting on
You're
a show.
performing.
You're performing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was fun. You're, getting paid to exercise. I mean, it was kind of crazy when I was at my peak of teaching at 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is, I look back on, I don't know how I did it.
You're a machine.
Yeah. But it was, I'd get to the office and I've already had a full day.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And it was cool. And it was also like, just again, another thing to do. And I love, honestly, just entertainment and media. And, I produced Titanic, the musical.
Yes.
Outside of work.
The massive hit.
Which was, is crazy.
How long did the run end up going?
It's still going.
It's still going?
Get your tickets, Jen.
Oh my gosh.
Off Broadway.
I thought it ended.
No, we had a glow up. We went from the basement of the Gristedes in Chelsea to the Darrell Roth Theater right on Union Square.
Okay, I'm going in a couple weeks.
You need to
I'm gonna go and see it.
It's...
Everyone that I know has seen it.
I get excited when I talk to friends like you who haven't seen it yet, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, everyone's already seen it. And then I'm like, nope, I met another person who hasn't seen it. So you got to go. It just opened on the West End.
Okay, done.
It's super, super fun. But that was, my dear friend Alex Ellis, who played Rose, a.k.a. Kate Winslet. Mm-hmm. I would go to just her readings where they were just doing it kind of behind the music stands.
Yeah.
And it's all, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a parody of Titanic, all Celine Dion music. And the entry point is that Celine Dion was on the Titanic and is telling you what actually happened. Mm-hmm. And it's very campy, very like pop culture, lots of like improv. And I would pee my pants laughing at this thing. And they were just standing behind music stands.
Yeah.
And just was like, this is clearly not a Spring Hill show.
Yeah.
So how can I be involved? Yeah. And got involved, outside of work. But yeah, I'm like, I love anything that just makes me smile. And that's, I guess, the answer to your question. I'm not teaching spin anymore. So that's been a good closing of that chapter.
The last question that I ask all the guests that come in is about how you're finding joy. And I feel like you partially answered that, but anything to expand on that?
How am I finding joy? I always find joy traveling.
Yeah.
I normally try to take a 2-week trip every year and fully unplug, delete my email.
Oh.
Another fun tip.
Yeah.
Do a trip where you delete your email.
I know. I don't think I could.
I don't know if you could either because you're a boss.
Business owner. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm not. But
you are, but
yeah, it's different. I went on the trip I wanted to do my entire life to the Galapagos Islands with my mom. I wanted to be a marine biologist until I took AP Bio, and then decided I'd go to film school.
Okay.
And we went there, and there's no service at the Galapagos Islands,
in
case you wanted to know. So I really planted the seeds with like everyone. Like, I am not like, when people are like, I'm gonna be off the grid.
You're like, no, I literally will not have.
But then they respond to email.
Yeah.
It's like you get the out of office, and then they respond. You're like, you're not out of office.
That's me.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Which we all are guilty of it. Like, I can't do a Friday or a Monday and truly unplug.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still reading emails and stuff.
Well, it also almost helps you because you're going to come back to it at some point anyway. So it almost just sort of like helps you to comb through,
Correct. And this Galapagos trip, I was like, I'm off. Like, there will not be service.
Yeah.
And there was not. Deep down, I was like, what if there is? But there wasn't. Yeah. And it was truly amazing. I forgot what day it was. Yeah. I forgot what was happening. And I got back to the mainland, and my mom and I had another week of our trip. And I stupidly was like, I'm going to peak. And I had deleted Gmail off my phone. Mm-hmm. And I opened it back up, and there was the flood of emails. But what was the most exciting thing? There was this one thread with like 112 emails of a full-on disaster happening on a show that actually involved talent pulling out of something.
Oh, okay. I know it well.
And I just read this like a page-turner novel of just like,
yeah, the play-by-play.
My God. And I'm like, that's where I would have had to jump. That's where I would have jumped in. And what you realize is other people will rise to the occasion.
Yep.
And got through the whole thread and was like, my Lord, I'm so happy that I had my email deleted.
Yeah.
Because that would have
it would have ruined your trip.
The day.
Yeah.
Or not even ruined, but it just would have been like on my mind.
Yeah.
And that I then quickly deleted Gmail and for that next week stayed off.
Yeah.
But that brings me joy fully, like unplugging. I think that's when you find new ideas.
Yeah.
It's when you feel refreshed.
Yeah.
I'm in a not newish, but a year-long relationship that brings me joy. He may or may not be in the room, so that's been great.
I'm staring him in the eyes right now.
He's my publicist today.
Yes. He made sure your forehead was powdered.
Yes.
And your angles were appropriate.
What brings you joy?
And I mean, I think like the traveling thing for sure. And, you know, I have not done enough of it in the way that I used to. I mean, you've known me for many years. I used to also just pack up and go so much. But now I have 2 kids and, you know, and business is bigger and there's more happening all the time. But that truly is just seeing the world and different cultures and different sunsets and different landscapes and trying different food. And I think like, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it's true. But being a mom, you know, and I think I always knew that I wanted to be a mom. And obviously my journey of motherhood came on fast and furious.
It really did.
Like, you know, single and ready to mingle 1 minute and then, you know, in a relationship with 2 kids like less than 2 years later.
Blinked. We talk about it where we had our Laurel Hardware martini night, both just desperately single. And then I woke up and you had 2 children and I was still desperately single.
Oh, no.
I was like, what happened to you over the pandemic, Jen?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. No, it happened fast. But I think there's seeing life through little one's eyes. And it's just the simplest of things, right? And I think it's really grounding and really humbling.
It's what you said. It's not something we go seek. I can't remember who said it on one of the shows I produced, but some talent keeps a list in their phone of what brings them joy.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny that we're talking about this because I thought about this morning because I was walking to the car and it smelled like fresh cut grass. And I was like, and that was one of the things that this person, I wish I could remember who it was, that was like very at the top of her list.
Yeah.
Like she was like, fresh cut grass. And I was just like, God, that is true. Like, you could be in a bad mood and go outside and just like...
Yep, and you get a whiff of
maybe
that.
Maybe not if you're
like,
allergic.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
no, like that's summer, like summer is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so funny we're talking about this because, like, you can, if you're having a bad day or whatever, you can kind of seek it out if you know what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought the podcast back. This is also my first podcast.
Really?
So, yes,
ever? Oh,
ever.
My gosh. Well, please come back anytime.
Okay.
We can flip the table. I will happily
Great.
have you interview me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you would do a great job.
Great. I'd love that.
Well, Phil, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell everyone where can we find you and follow you and learn about all your projects.
So I am 2.5 years clean from Instagram.
Nice.
So you can't find me there. It's kind of annoying when people send you links and they're like, you have to watch this, and
yeah,
it's
can't.
hard to do.
Okay.
I am, though, on LinkedIn.
Okay. I love it. I love LinkedIn.
My only social media platform.
Okay, great.
My coworkers are like, are you trying to become an influencer on LinkedIn? Because I post like every show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is where I can like share what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm there. And then you can also find me sometimes just walking around Echo Park. And yes, Titanic, check it out, you and everyone else.
Yes.
Go watch all the Spring Hill shows that are out there.
Yeah. Or just everyone, please go watch unscripted content. Like,
watch
we
unscripted
need,
content.
Like, help us, you know?
Keep those shows in the top 10.
Yeah.
For Netflix and Max and Hulu. Like, it really matters. Just put it on and go to work.
It does.
let it autoplay.
I know. All right. Well, thank you so much, Phil. I adore you. I love you. You're the best. I have no doubts that we're gonna make a bunch more really cool shit in the years to come. And thank you for being my friend. Thank you for bringing your man.
I love you. I love everyone who works at Cultivated, as you know.
Thank you.
And you're the best. Thank you for welcoming you to the pod.
And that's a wrap on another episode of Cultivated Conversations. I'm your host, Jen Proctor. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Please please subscribe. You can find us at Cultivated Entertainment and send us an email, hello@cultivatedent.com. We want to hear from you. What did you like? What did you not like? What do you want to hear more of? Who do you want to see on the show? Can't wait to hear from you, and thanks for listening in.